On the night of March 9, 1997, the hip-hop world changed forever. A Vibe magazine party in Los Angeles, intended to celebrate music and culture, instead became the scene of chaos and tragedy. Gene Deal, who was present that night, later gave an account revealing details that few have ever heard. The tension in the air was palpable, and decisions made in those fleeting moments would prove fatal. This story is not only about the death of Biggie Smalls, it is a tale of fame, rivalry, and the fragility of life in the glaring spotlight of celebrity. The events of that evening would leave a permanent mark on the music world and continue to be dissected decades later. According to Deal, the party began with 23 people, but as the fire department intervened, nearly half of them left. The remaining crew were tasked with critical responsibilities, managing vehicles, securing exits, and ensuring the safe departure of Biggie and his entourage. Vehicles were strategically aligned, parallel to the doors, ready to escort the artists without delay. On the surface, everything appeared ordinary, yet the atmosphere was charged with anticipation. Biggie, still recovering from previous injuries, moved cautiously. Deal noticed that Puffy, normally calm in these situations, seemed unusually nervous. He repeatedly checked the crowd, gave instructions with urgency, and appeared distracted by minor details. These subtle but unusual actions would later attract scrutiny and speculation. Even among insiders, the tension that night was exceptional, and everyone present felt the weight of responsibility, aware that any small misstep could have catastrophic consequences.
Big is taking his time because his fibular bones and his thighs are broken or whatever like that. They fractured or whatever. So it's taking him a long time to come out. So they get out, Big gets in the car, everybody get loaded up. I said, come on, let's go. We ready to go. Puff is running back and forth like, he'll see a girl, he'll go grab a girl. He said, Gene, remember her, she coming to the party tomorrow. I'm like, remember her? What the fuck is you talking about, bro? I never seen him act like this ever, because he don't act like that. Because even in New York City, once Puff get in the car, he'll leave his mama. We gone, we out. So Puff is like looking, and if you see the cameras, you see him running back and forth, looking and everything like that.
Deal emphasized that Puffy's behavior stood out immediately. Typically, after an event, he would exit promptly, but that night he paced back and forth, monitoring entrances and exits, attending to details that seemed insignificant to others. This nervous energy did not go unnoticed. Analysts and fans have debated whether his behavior suggested prior knowledge, heightened anxiety, or something else entirely, but nothing has ever been legally proven. What is clear from Deal's account is that the unusual conduct of key figures added to the already tense atmosphere and is a crucial part of understanding the chain of events that led to tragedy. Gene Deal stationed himself outside the venue, concealed firearm under his shirt, scanning the street for potential threats. He observed passers-by carefully. One man in a blue and white shirt walked past without incident, but shortly after, a man in a blue suit, white shirt, and blue bow tie approached the area. Deal's attention immediately focused on the distances, the positioning of Biggie and Puffy, and the possible risks posed by this approach. Within minutes, he realized that the setup on the street bore all the hallmarks of a planned attack. The placement of vehicles, the flow of pedestrians, and the overall timing suggested intent, not coincidence. In those critical moments, Gene Deal understood the danger that surrounded them and how precise planning had intersected with chance to create a deadly scenario. The entourage prepared to leave under Deal's guidance. Every movement was deliberate, every second vital. Confusion arose when Paul, a member of the entourage, struggled to move his car from the garage. Puffy insisted on waiting, escalating tension further. In high-pressure situations like this, seconds are life or death. Deal recounts that every person acted with urgency, trying to maintain order as anxiety grew. The combination of careful planning and sudden unpredictability demonstrated how quickly a controlled environment can become chaotic. Even minor delays can have far-reaching consequences when threats are imminent. As the vehicles finally started moving down the street, gunfire erupted. Biggie's car was immediately targeted. Panic set in instantly inside the vehicles. Some ducked instinctively, others tried to identify the source of the attack, and Deal attempted evasive maneuvers. Visibility was limited, and chaos made coordinated action nearly impossible. The rapid escalation demonstrates how even experienced security teams are vulnerable when confronted with precision attacks. Split-second decisions defined survival, and the uncertainty of the situation added to the peril. Inside Biggie's car, fear and adrenaline dominated every movement. Puffy was the first to duck for cover, while others scrambled to react. Gene Deal recalled the raw intensity of the moment. Decisions had to be made instantly. Instincts took over, and the line between life and death was razor thin. Despite attempts to escape, the precision of the attackers made avoidance extremely difficult. This was not just a test of training, but a brutal confrontation with real, lethal danger.
We got across the street. Tone, who was behind me, said, "Yo, somebody in the car pointing a gun at Big and them." I goes to open the door. Fucking, next thing you know, you hear it say, pow! Pop, 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 pop! Yeah. There's 5 or 6 cars, was like, pop, 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 pop! Right? Fucking Kenny guns the car going forward. I said, "Kenny, what the fuck is you doing?" He said, "They shooting at Big." He said, "We don't know who they shooting."
Once the gunfire ceased, the focus shifted entirely to getting Biggie to medical attention. Deal communicated directions quickly. Every second waited with urgency. Biggie remained briefly conscious, but had sustained injuries that were grave from the outset. Doctors tried to stabilize him upon arrival, but the extent of his wounds was fatal. Within minutes, a night meant for celebration had transformed into a struggle for survival. Deal emphasized that this rapid shift from ordinary to life-threatening encapsulated the extreme pressures faced by those protecting high-profile figures in unpredictable environments. Despite the rapid response and medical intervention, Biggie Smalls was declared dead from multiple gunshot wounds. News of his death spread immediately, sending shockwaves through fans and the hip-hop community worldwide. Media outlets quickly speculated on motives and potential suspects. Deal's first-hand account offers a human perspective, showing the emotional and practical realities behind headlines. The loss resonated far beyond music, symbolizing the dangers tied to celebrity life and unresolved rivalries in the industry. Multiple eyewitnesses reported slightly differing sequences of events, complicating the investigation. Gene Deal's testimony clarified crucial points, including car positions, the movements of key individuals, and rapid decision-making under pressure. These varying accounts contributed to decades of speculation, analysis, and theory. Historians and journalists continue to study Deal's recollections to bridge gaps between official records and first-hand observations, emphasizing the chaotic and high-stakes environment of that night.
Well, the car was shot 4 times, with the 4th shot being fatal. By the time Big got to the hospital, he was pronounced dead. He was 24 years old.
I knew he was dead.
Deal reflected on the intricate planning involved in escorting Biggie safely. Vehicles were positioned strategically, every path monitored, and each person aware of potential dangers. Yet even with careful preparation, the chaos rendered many of these measures insufficient. Every choice, from vehicle alignment to movement speed, carried profound consequences. This account provides a rare window into the intense pressures surrounding celebrity security when facing real, imminent threats. In the aftermath, scrutiny fell on Sean "Puffy" Combs. Analysts and fans debated whether his behavior suggested foreknowledge or involvement, negligence, or simply heightened anxiety. Deal's account does not make accusations, but provides context for why suspicions arose. The environment of tension, compounded by Tupac's recent death, the East Coast-West Coast rivalry, and the presence of prominent artists in Los Angeles, fueled theories and speculation that continue to circulate decades later. Biggie Smalls' murder cannot be understood in isolation. The mid-1990s hip-hop scene was rife with rivalry, particularly between East Coast and West Coast artists. Los Angeles, already charged after Tupac's death, became a volatile space for visiting East Coast performers. Deal's account underscores the human stakes. Navigating fear, loyalty, and unpredictability in public spaces was as critical as musical talent. These insights highlight the constant pressures and dangers surrounding prominent figures during that era. Following Biggie's death, fans and artists expressed grief and disbelief. Media outlets amplified speculation, sometimes distorting facts for attention. Gene Deal's observations offered clarity, showing what truly occurred versus what was reported. The incident highlighted not only the loss of a gifted artist, but also the vulnerability inherent in fame and public life. It became a cautionary tale for the industry, demonstrating how quickly celebration can turn to tragedy. Biggie Smalls' musical talent and cultural impact endure, but his death also serves as a lesson about security, loyalty, and the pressures surrounding public figures. Gene Deal's testimony preserves this historical moment, illustrating the human cost of violence in celebrity spaces. Friends, family, and entourages experienced fear, responsibility, and grief, reminding listeners that behind headlines lie real lives affected by sudden tragedy. The tragedy underscores the intersection of fame and danger, showing that no individual is invulnerable regardless of status or preparation. Even after decades of investigation, many questions remain. Who orchestrated the attack? What was the precise motive? Why did certain key figures behave unusually that night? While Deal's testimony provides clarity on several points, the uncertainty persists, fueling documentaries, discussion, and ongoing analysis. The combination of chaos, timing, and high stakes created an environment where definitive answers remain elusive, yet Deal's recollections remain invaluable in piecing together the night's events. Beyond conspiracy theories and speculation, Gene Deal reminds us of the human cost. Friends and family witnessed a tragedy unfold before them and lived with it for years. Biggie's death affected lives far beyond the music industry, emphasizing that headlines represent real people and experiences. Deal's account personalizes the story, showing the fear, urgency, and responsibility felt by those trying to protect him. The tragedy demonstrates how unpredictable violence can impact even the most protected and high-profile individuals. In the end, Gene Deal's account provides a sobering and detailed perspective on the night Biggie Smalls was killed. His testimony offers insight into the chaos, tension, and heartbreak that unfolded within minutes. While the case remains officially unsolved, Deal's recollections allow listeners to understand the human and logistical dimensions of the tragedy. Biggie's legacy continues through his music, influence, and memory, but the story of his final night serves as a cautionary tale. Even the brightest stars are vulnerable in moments of danger. The fragility of life in the spotlight is starkly evident, reminding us that behind fame and public personas lie individuals navigating unpredictable threats. The events of March 9, 1997 are etched into the history of hip-hop. Biggie Smalls' death marked not only a loss of talent, but also a moment that exposed the vulnerability, tension, and human cost behind celebrity life. Gene Deal's detailed account preserves the truth of that night, offering lessons on vigilance, human behavior under pressure, and the consequences of rivalry and violence. His testimony ensures that the story remains clear, detailed, and compelling for future generations. Biggie Smalls was more than an artist. He was a symbol of a generation, a voice that resonated across the world. Gene Deal's narrative provides a unique and irreplaceable perspective on his final hours, showing the precarious balance between life, fame, and danger. The story of that night continues to captivate, educate, and caution anyone who studies it. Biggie's music lives on, but the memory of that tragic evening remains a solemn reminder. In the glare of fame, life can change in an instant, and no amount of preparation can eliminate the risks entirely. Rest in peace, Biggie Smalls, a legend whose story will never be forgotten.